One day I struck up a conversation with a university student who happened to be a Muslim. And we started this debate about some of the different theologies and beliefs that Muslims and Christians had. Now, this guy, he was really smart. His name was Mohammed. He brought a Quran with him. He was ready to argue. And we chatted about all of these different things that Muslims and Christians believe, some that we agreed on, some that we differed on. One of the main things we were talking about was whether or not Jesus really was divine, whether he actually was God. Now, Muhammad, he did not believe that Jesus was God, whereas I, as a Christian, did. And so at one point, Muhammad said to me, "Can you point to me one place in the Bible where Jesus says that he's God?" So I flipped to Revelation chapter 1, verse 18. And I said, "Who does this sound like?" And I read, and it's Jesus talking about himself. And he says, "I am the first and the last." Muhammad thought for a while and he said, "Well, that sounds like God, because God is the first and the last. He always has been and he always will be." And I said, "Exactly, I agree with you." And I said, the very next line, this is what Jesus says: "He who was dead and is now alive." Who does that sound like? And he said, well, I don't know, because God doesn't die. And I said, exactly. But Jesus, who is God, we believe as Christians that he was crucified, that he died, but that he in fact rose again from the dead, and now he's alive. And so, of course, this conversation continued on. That was just one moment. And when Muhammad walked away, he was still a Muslim and I was still a Christian. We didn't change each other's mind. But the main takeaway for me was that this whole conversation happened in such a friendly and yet passionate way. So Muhammad, the whole time, was very passionate about his beliefs. He wasn't backing down. And I was very passionate about my beliefs, and I wasn't backing down. And yet, we were both extremely kind to each other, very friendly with each other. In fact, when the conversation was done, Muhammad said to me, "This has been a great conversation," big smile on his face. And he said, "I felt like through the whole conversation, you and I, we were talking with each other like we were brothers." And that was just a really beautiful line. And so in our culture nowadays, sometimes people think that we can't talk about controversial things, that we can't talk about religion. But I say that we can and we should. But we should do so in a way that is charitable and that is kind, always treating the other person as a friend, as an actual person, and not a project to be worked on.